I liked this passage from John Witt, Robocher professor at Emory, who phrased it this way. There are paradoxes in the Christian life in Luther's view. We're sinners and saints, we're lords and servants, we can do nothing good, we can do nothing but good. We're utterly free and we are everywhere bound. The more a person thinks himself a saint, the more sinful in fact he becomes. The more a person acts like a lord, the more he's called to be a servant. The more the person acts like a servant, the more in fact she has become a lord. This is the paradoxical nature of human life, and for Luther, the essence of human dignity. So while we're free lords of all, we've got to be cognizant that there are responsibilities that come with that freedom. And this is the Lutheran view of freedom then. And it ought to guide in our institution the way we think about our choices when it comes to both academic and artistic freedom. Both are unfettered, yet cognizant of our inherent responsibilities as servants to all and subject to everyone. When I looked at Arthur Holmes' book, The Idea of a Christian College, and he's professor at Wheaton, in 1987, he described academic freedom this way. He said, academic freedom is the freedom of the teacher to teach, of the student to learn, and of the college to be an educational institution. And in a Christian college, it should exemplify Christian liberty that avoids the extremes of both legalism and license. And this suggests three possible policies: a legalistic policy or approach, a libertine policy or approach, or one grounded in responsible freedom. The legalistic view, Holmes argues, focuses on indoctrinating students and faculty to a particular type of thought, speech, and behavior, and then to judge those who do not toe the line. The libertine view privileges all views as equal and relative, and that nothing is true in and of itself, only how it relates to other positions. And then he talks about this idea of responsible freedom. And let me just read a little passage here. He says, liberty flourishes under neither totalitarianism nor anarchy, neither legalism nor license. It thrives under law, but it's smothered in an atmosphere of fear and suspicion. Liberty is not uncommitted, but its commitment is to an ideal higher than current institutions or present laws. Academic freedom may be defined then as freedom to explore the truth in a responsible fashion, to think, even to make mistakes, and then to correct them. So I just put that forward then as we think about freedom over the next day and a half, to think about where your college or university sits on that continuum from legalism through libertine views of academic freedom. This third facet of Valpo's mission statement, preparing students to lead and serve, naturally flows from this earlier discussion on freedom. And it also offers a view into the Lutheran concept of vocation, or sense of calling that one may experience. And here we work intentionally to help students to discern their God-given talents and abilities, to reflect on how best to put those talents to use as the dutiful servant of all and subject to all, and to pursue that which God has called one to do. And I just have one other Luther passage, and then I promise I'll move on to something else. Luther said it this way: the prince should think, Christ has served me and made me everything to follow him. Therefore I should also serve my neighbor, protect him, and everything that belongs to him. That's why God has given me this office, and I have it that I might serve him, that I might be a good prince and a ruler. When a prince sees his neighbors oppressed, he should think, that concerns me. I must protect and shield my neighbor. And the same is true for the shoemaker, the tailor, the scribe, or the reader. If he's a Christian tailor, he'll say, I make these clothes because God has bidden me to do so, so that I can earn a living, so that I can help and serve my neighbor. When a Christian does not serve the other, God is not present, and that is not Christian living. So these dimensions of mission, community of learning, dedication to excellence, Lutheran tradition of scholarship, freedom, and faith, and then finally our purposes to prepare students to lead and serve, drive our thinking, our strategy, our decision-making, and our view of the arts at Valparaiso University. Let's see, two other things. I want to just talk a little bit about vision, because that's one more piece. Many of you are at institutions that are grounded in a faith tradition, but are made up of a very diverse set of faith backgrounds of the students who are in your programs. And we have grappled with this issue here over the past 2 years. And as we've crafted the vision statement for the university and the subsets of that vision statement, we have articulated this as our vision for our position as a Lutheran university. We say that Valparaiso University will be a distinguished Lutheran community of learning, constituted by people of many and various beliefs and backgrounds, in dialogue with one another, in common pursuit of truth. And that's a small t, in common pursuit of truth. So we're here in dialogue with one another, across our differences. And what joins us together in our various theological positions is that we're all seeking truth together, not necessarily a common truth. So it's the pursuit that we're after as a university, rather than the truth that we're after individually defined. We've spent a good deal of time as a university talking about this. Now, I've spent a lot of time on this, and all this is by way of saying that the context of the institution is very important when you consider the role of the arts as institutional signature. Mission and vision have to drive your thinking as an institution, and whether you're a president, a provost, a dean, a department chair, a center director, a program head, you have got to be very clear at your level of how the mission of this institution, your institution, relates to what you're trying to do with your arts programming. As I said, we believe at Valparaiso University that the arts have a very important role to play. And we've articulated 7 institutional strategies that we're working on. And I want to talk a little bit about how the arts figure into each one of those institutional strategies, so you can see how we're beginning to line that up. First is academic excellence. We have a series of strategies around how we're going to take our academic work to the next level. The quality of the arts programs on a university campus, in my estimation, serve as the standard bearer for the overall quality of the institution. They are perhaps the most important public face of any institution. Performances are very often attended by alumni, donors, the general public, guests from other academic institutions. And if you're offering weak performances or exhibitions, that translates into assessments of the quality of the students, the faculty, and the institution. In the same way that when you field losing athletic teams year on year, similar conclusions are drawn about your institution. The difference is that the arts programs might be more in the area in which you're drawing students, and the athletics program affect your national reputation. I would argue that if one's institutional mission is focused on excellence, that the institution must devote sufficient resources for faculty and students to ensure a level of quality consonant with a level of excellence that the institution expects from its very best programs. Now, I once worked at an institution that was Franciscan in character. It was a wonderful institution. I really learned a lot of my role as a professor during those years. But the institution had a very uneasy relationship with the arts. They couldn't quite reconcile that relationship of the arts to the Franciscan ethos and character. And they really grappled as an institution about whether their mission was focused on access or excellence, and kept waffling in terms of their strategy. One can be an institution committed to access and be excellent. They're not mutually exclusive. But this one moved back and forth between the two in those times. And so the arts were treated and funded somewhere between student clubs and the very lowest priority academic department. And that institution struggled and continues to struggle in its positioning as an academically excellent place. So if you aspire to excellence, this is a quick way, from my perspective, to start moving the institution in that direction. Colleges whose primary missions are access and opportunity can look to the arts as a means for opening students' minds to new ways of thinking and expression. And here the goal is expansion of opportunities and exploration, and success comes from putting those arts programs in place. With regard to Lutheran character, we have, Valpo's got a set of strategies around Lutheran character, and for us, our arts programs advance our Lutheran identity significantly. Luther, of course, is known for loving music, saying that beautiful music is the art of the prophets that can calm the agitations of the soul. It's one of the most magnificent and delightful presents that God has given us. And so, music programs figure prominently among all Lutheran colleges and universities, and the same holds true for Valpo. In fact, I think that the competitiveness among Lutheran University music programs rivals Division I athletics. It really does. I mean, there's a strong sense of competition among the Lutherans. Valpo fields exceptional musical ensembles, including a chorale, a men's and women's chorus, a symphony orchestra, 3 concert bands. In addition, we have an internationally acclaimed Bach Institute. Today I met with the pastor at St. Thomas Church in Leipzig, and we have a relationship there, and we're known well in Germany for what we're doing with the Bach Institute. Each musical ensemble is led by an extraordinary musician. Each of these musicians is a dedicated Lutheran. These men and women are keenly aware of the importance of our music programs in advancing Valparaiso's Lutheran identity and character, and music becomes a very important vehicle for educating students from various faiths about what it means to be Lutheran. It's a wonderful vehicle for us to be able to do that. But Valpo's connection between the arts and Lutheran character does not stop with music. The Brouwer Art Museum, and I hope you will take the time, skip a session, go to the Brouwer Art Museum next door, and you'll see an extraordinary exhibition of the work by Japanese master printmaker Sadao Watanabe. This is an exhibit entitled Heeding the Voice of Heaven, and we have a huge collection of Watanabe prints that, in essence, take you through the entire journey of the Bible. And we've got a wonderful collection that really does use the gallery as a way of continuing to teach and advance our mission and our Lutheran character. Dramatic performances have also forwarded our Lutheran identity and character. Sole Purpose is a liturgical drama troupe that is comprised of students at Valparaiso, and it's sponsored by the Department of Theater. And this was the heart and soul and love of John Stephen Paul, is putting this troupe together and sending them all over the country. It was founded on the idea of performing plays as part of church services, or what we call liturgical drama. The troupe was designed for connecting students' love of theater with their Christian faith commitments. They, again, represent a broad section of academic majors, geographical origins, and Christian denominations. About half are theater majors. They're not paid, but they do receive credit. And over 20 years, Sole Purpose created a repertoire of nearly 30 plays, each developed from one or more texts in the Common Lectionary. And the program has involved 200 students and more than 150 churches across the United States. And we're now in the process of continuing that legacy under new leadership and doing recruitment for that. Of course, we're trying to recruit students and retain students, and the arts are an important part of that. Students will come to study at an excellent program, and they will stay. If your program is not excellent, they will go. The vibrant arts programs create a vibrant campus culture, which attracts students from other majors. Arts groups often tour from the campus, and they spread awareness of the institution, and they draw on student interest. And non-arts majors who are active in the arts are more engaged in the life of the institution, and again are more likely to stay. So they can serve an important recruitment and retention purpose.